Yeah, well, I always have to start that particular line of subject with my beautiful friend Brendan, because Brendan, not only a notoriable, worldwide known trainer, um, an absolute diamond of a human being, and in many senses of those words, was opened his door to me, opened his arms to me. From getting out of prison, serving a 13-year finishing serving a 13-year sentence. I remember first walking into the gym. I first went into Brendan's gym as a result of, the day before getting out of prison, finishing my 13-year sentence, and getting myself into a bit of a scrape, a physical altercation with a particular chap whose name I won't mention. But the altercation didn't go his way, and I got frightened, and I realised that I had to channel, my obvious aggressions and mentality into something a bit more productive. I'd previously been on the pads and obviously trained in prison and stuff like that. Homemade pads, to say, in prison, made out of cardboard, the insides of pillars, and brown tape, the best thing available at that time. So I was familiar with, throwing punches and training and stuff like that. And it was my first go-to thought. I've got to get into something, the gym being the obvious thing. I'd spoke to a good friend of mine, Franny Kennedy, who'd first mentioned me getting into boxing. He was part owner of the Salisbury gym in Liverpool, where David Price trained as an amateur, who at this particular time planned to go into the Olympics, which he inevitably did, as you know. And Franny had basically said, "Oh, Richard, I think you'd knock him all over and this and that, David." And funnily enough, I got to know David. We sparred together. I got to know David, lovely fella, and we never fought, unfortunately. But I got into boxing. The day that I got into this physical altercation. I hurt the fella, and I basically shit myself, because all the people that I'd met, serving considerable sentences, like 25 plus years in prison, and you'd look at these unsuspecting fellas, and I'd ask them, whenever I got the opportunity, a few times I did, I'd say, well, "Excuse me, what are you in for?" And some of them, like, you'd look at them, and they didn't only look like butter wouldn't melt in the mouth, they sounded like it wouldn't melt in the mouth as well. So they went on to tell me how they got into a physical altercation and killed who they'd had a fight with, and ended up serving like 25 years plus, like I said. So jumping forward to me being out the day I've got out, all I wanted to do was walk along the field, which I did. There was a field at the back of my mum's house. I walked down through to the bottom of Concord Field, walked through the woods, walked onto Meadowhall Shopping Centre, where there was a cinema there. I can't remember for the life of what film I watched, but I went there, walked back. As I'm walking down the field, I bumped into this fella. He sprouted his mouth off. I recognised him from the school I went to. And I just waved at him, because I was just happy to be out. I'm walking along this field, and I'm smelling the grass and just smelling freedom. I was just so grateful to be out. And coming back, on my way back to my mum's, I didn't really have nowhere to live at that time. I've seen this fella, a familiar face, and I've just waved. And he looked at me and went, "What? You what?" So I went, "No," I said, "Hello, I recognise you from such and such school." So he went, "Yeah," he went, "I recognise you, you black cunt." So I went, "All right, enough." And I just walked off, because them type of things have never bothered me. Yeah, my dad's black, my mum's white, but I've seen the worst of both races. I've seen the best of both races. So I'm not, yeah, it's an insult, but I'm caramel. So anyway, so I've gone to walk off, and he went, "Yeah, fucking walk on, you coward." And for some reason, I've always hated being called a coward or a bully. It's just something that I've never liked. I can't really recall why I don't like that. It's just something that I've not liked. I'm far from a coward. So I turned around. I went, I tell you what. I went because he had a little kid and a dog, one of those sheepdog, black and white sheepdogs, sheep rearing dogs or whatever you call them. And so I said to him, I tell you what, take your kid home, take your dog home. I went, we'll come back down here. We'll have a straightener like men. And he went, yeah, all right, no. And he's gone, fucking get in car to little kid and dog. So I thought, I'm gonna hurt this guy. I'm gonna hurt him. So I've walked off. I've gone into my mum's house, took my top off, and I had some wraps, some of those cheap cloth Lonsdale wraps, what you get from Soccer Sport. I can't remember who bought me. I think a friend of mine bought them from me because I'd said I want to get into a bit of training when I get out, and I'd had this wild idea that I was going to have a go at MMA. And I've got a friend from Holland. I was speaking to on a regular basis. He said to me, Richard, MMA is not really what you want to get into, because I'd recommend at least 2 years of experience in jiu-jitsu. He goes, because it's turning that way now. At this time, April 2nd, 2007, when I got out, around that time, I think he first mentioned that to me in 2003, I think it was. I think MMA was just starting to, people were just starting to, the jiu-jitsu practitioners were just starting to take over. Royce Gracie, Rodriguez Gracie, and people like that were starting to make a storm in MMA. So I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about that. I just heard about it. I'd read it in FHM magazines and stuff like that. It wasn't as predominant as it is now back then.
Yeah.
And he just said to me, that's not what you want to get into. So cutting a long story short, I'm in the house. I've got these wraps on, yellow ones, I remember. and I wrapped them around my hands, and I went to walk out, and I had a gum shield as well. And my mum come behind me. She went, Richard, and she grabbed my arm. I was a lot thicker set then than I am now. I weighed myself. We've been down to spar with Derek Chisora today in London, in Vauxhall. And I weighed myself on their weighing scales, and I think I'm 17.6 now, 17 stone 6. Back then I was 19 stone 4, and I was a lot thicker set because I wasn't doing any cardio. I was doing prison stuff, weights, and probably 10 seconds on a running machine. That's about it. But I've gone to walk out, and my mum pulled me. She went, Richard, what are you doing? And I turned around. I went, I'm going to go and do a bit of training. She went, Richard, don't lie to me. She went, I know you better than you know yourself. She went, where are you going? I went, I'm just gonna go and sort something out. She went, Richard, please. And she started crying. She went, please, don't get locked back up. We've been coming to see you for 7 years, Richard, and it's been hard without you here and this and that, without putting a sob story online or whatever. And I just went, I promise you, Mum, I won't. And I walked out of the house. As I'm walking down the road, this fella's pulling back on in his car, funnily enough. And he's looked out of his window and looked me up and down. I've got no top on. I was a lot bulkier then. And I saw doubt in his eyes, and he breathed in, looked forward, and drove on. So I had a bottle of Buxton water in my hand, and a 1.5 litre bottle. And I thought, this fella don't want to fight. Do you know what I mean? I've just seen doubt in his eyes type thing. Not that I'm an expert analyst or anything like that, but you can tell. So I walked on, and he's bouncing up and down, and his fingers were like that, and he's bouncing up and down. And his fingers are like that. And I thought, this fella. So I walked over. I went, listen, mate. I was just saying hello to you. And he went, yeah. He went, oh, what? Went, come on, then. He went, come on. You've asked me to come down. So I went, are you sure you want to do this, lad? So he went, yeah. He went, what? Are you fucking shitting myself? So in my mind, I've thrown a jab like that.
Yeah.
But in reality, I probably throw a jab like I couldn't fight. I thought I could, and this fella thought he could fight. But it's ended quickly. Without going into gory detail, it's ended quickly. I've got carried away, and where I was obviously hitting him in his face, blood's come out of his face. It's gone into my mouth, and it snapped me out of it because I was sat in his chest. like holding his arms down, and I just snapped out of it. All of a sudden, all these people, what I'd met, these people, what were in prison, dawned on me. These unassuming fellas, what were doing life. And I just thought, and I started crying. I was just worried and scared, thinking, "Oh my God, I'm going on the day I've got out. What am I doing?" I was just crying, and so I'm trying to wake him up, and he was just like on the floor, and all white's coming out of his mouth. His eyes were closed, and all like liquids coming out of his mouth. His ears were bleeding. I'm thinking, "Oh my God." So I've picked him up anyway. He was like, this fella were a big fella. So I've like dragged him up to them, them concrete posts what stop bikes going on the fields.
Yeah.
And I've sat him on one of them, and I've got this bottle of water, this Buxton water, and I've emptied it all over his head. And he come round a bit, and he went, and first thing he said to me, he looked at me, and he went, "Why didn't they tell me that I could fight?" In a Sheffield accent. "Why didn't you tell me you could fight?" And I was just like, "Fucking idiot. I said hello to you." Anyway, that's how I got into Brendan's gym. The next day, I thought, I've got to go into the gym. I've got to do something. Brendan being the most obvious place, because I'd previously visited there when I was like 16. I think I went for like 2 weekends maximum on a Saturday morning at 8:00. Prince Nazim was in there, Ryan Rhodes were in there, and they passed me around like a fucking Lambert and Butler. I remember Naz dropped me with a body shot. I don't know if he dropped me, but he hit me with his body shot, and I just remember looking at him thinking, "What are you doing?" Like emptied my soul out my body, and I never went back in Brendan's. Oh, sorry.
So?
My battery sign came on then. I left Brendan's, never went back again, and until this time I'm out of prison. I've got myself into a bit of trouble, and when I walked in, the rest is history.
Oh, there we go. It froze for a second then.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I said I walked in
right.
Brendan's gym. I'd not been in Brendan's gym since being a 16-year-old kid. I mean, intestines wanting to escape after Nazit.
I wouldn't want to take a body shot from Naz.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't recommend it. And then the next time I walk into Brendan's gym, he just, from the day that I walked in, the lesson started, Brendan actually walked over to me, and I've got this hat on because my hair's a mess. So
look, come on.
I walked over to Brendan, and he just walked close to me and went, "Hello there." I went, "All right, Bren." "Fucking ugly bastard." It's all like, "Big ugly bastard." And he's like, "There."
Jeez.
He went, "Big ugly black bastard." All right. So he went, "How do you feel when I say these words to you?" I went, "To be honest with you, Brent," I went, "I'm not used to people speaking to me like that, so obviously I don't like it." He went, "So how are you going to feel if your mom is sat next to a white fella, you're fighting his friend, and he's shouting, 'Kill the black bastard'?" And in my mind, I remember thinking, I'd fucking jump out ring, I'd run up, I couldn't say that. And he went, "Do you want to fight?" And I went, "Not with you, Bren." He went, "Do you want to fucking train, you thick bastard?" I went, "Yeah, I want to." And then that were it. I started training, and fucking hell, I had a nightmare, little kids running rings around me. Kid Galahad to be one of them. Running rings, man, Junior Witter, he was WBC champion at the time, knocking lumps out of me, and I didn't know what were happening, because it's obviously a trade. Boxing's a trade.
Yeah.
And I thought that I can go into the gym and I'll dominate with, power and strength, and it was quite the opposite. I couldn't even hit these kids. If you can't hit somebody, how can you hurt them?
So I sort of touch on that, Richard, because obviously your amateur career, you only lost one bout when you're amateurs, and then when you went to professional, you only lost one bout as well. So
yeah. No. I had 8 amateurs. I lost 2.
Lost 2.
And I won 6, and I knocked 5 out.
Yeah, and looking at your professional record, we've watched your fights over the years. You had 1 loss. You had quite a lot of TKOs in there as well. What did you? Because your records are quite similar in each. What did you find different from the amateur game and the professional game?
Well, the amateur game, I remember I was a lot less controlled because Brendan used to say to me, "Don't worry about looking like fucking Naz or Johnny Nelson or anybody else. Don't fucking try and be a Sugar Ray Leonard." He go in there. He goes, hit him on the wrist, hit him on the collarbone, hit him fucking here, hit him there, hit him there, hit him wherever you can hit him. And I remember Brendan speaking to me. I've actually got a photo. I'll send you a photo if you want. And it's of Brendan used to sit with me before every single fight. And he'd just talk to me and he'd say, "Richard, don't try and be anything that you're fucking not. You've not got any experience. You've not got, oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. You've not got the experience. So when you go in, just let your fucking hands go. Don't overthink it." So when I were amateur, I took that literally. And I remember one fella in particular, it's actually on Instagram, it's called Ryan Barnett, I think he is. Lovely kid. And he was trained by Chris Pyatt, if you remember Chris Pyatt. Chris Pyatt, he won on World's Greatest Knockouts. I'd never even heard of this guy until I saw that DVD. And he was trained by him. And I couldn't give a fuck if he were trained by Mike Tyson. It didn't really enter my mind because I didn't understand boxing. I just thought, there's a fella stood in front of me. I'd sold like 400, 500 tickets at £20 each, amateurs. I'm going to smash this fella's head in. I'm going to hurt him. That's what I used to think. I didn't really think much more than that. Quite Neanderthal, to be honest with you. I understand.
But to be fair, I think there's nothing scarier than a young, hungry boxer who's not afraid of who's in front of him. They have nothing to lose.
Oh no, to be honest with you, I've got to correct you there. I was always scared. I was scared of different things. I weren't scared of being hit. I weren't scared of, breaking a bone or not necessarily getting knocked out, but I was scared of, I always used to enter my mind. I always used to think, if I get knocked out, I think because we're habitual creatures, aren't we? So yeah. I think I picked the habit up of thinking along this line of, if I get knocked out now, I've sold 500 tickets. There's probably people in crowd are from a rocky background like me. Because I had all sorts of people. That's one of the things which I'm blessed for. I've still got a lot of friends that could be classed as criminals or whatever. And the army friends, they're my beautiful friends. They've always stood by me. I've always stood by them. Obviously, from my point, a legal side of things these days. But we developed a long-standing friendship with a lot of the fellas that were coming to see me. And I used to think to myself, if I get knocked out in front of these, I'm a weak target. Not necessarily from them, but from previous so-called enemies or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So I can't, and I had that fear. Fear was strong in me. So I'd go into fights and I'd just be looking at them, and I remember all I could hear out of 500 people were Brendan's voice. Sit down on your shots. 1 shot. 3 shot. I could hear him. I'd go in there and I'd just think, and that Ryan in particular, he actually come to spar recently and we just had a little move around, just messing around, because he's actually a bare knuckle fighter now, Ryan. And he's doing really well. He knocked the fella out in 30 seconds or something, doing really well. But I remember Ryan in particular, it was a social club or whatever you call them, a working man's club, and the place was packed with people that I knew, and I'm stood there just looking at him, and he's looking at me, and I was just thinking, I'm gonna hurt you. You shouldn't be here, lad. And I did. I think we are trying to discredit Ryan. I'm sure he'd give it me now. But I just fucking annihilated him. And I remember him after just like looking up as if, what the fuck has just happened? And there weren't no finesse behind what I was doing, not even necessarily as a pro. I never confessed to being the most crisp boxer, the Tyson Furies or Anthony Joshua's or, Dillian White's or, my beautiful friend Deontay type thing. I never confessed to having the skill that those guys have got, but I just knew that I'm going to hit him there, I'm going to hit him there, I'm going to hit him there, I'm going to hit him there. Not necessarily just with my hands, if I got a chance to.
It's a bit dirty boxing if need be.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I had good success as an amateur. And then I went to, I remember Dominic saying to me, do you want the good news or the bad news? And I was like, any. So he went, we've got you a fight and it's to go in ABAs. Like you go in ABAs. So I went in first round, won the first round, second round, won that. And then he said, you're fighting a fella called Simon Val Lille. So I was like, all right, make no fucking difference to me. And he went, he's won Commonwealth Games like twice, I think it were, but don't quote me on that. I know he won Commonwealth Games, but I can't remember. So I was like, all right, I didn't know what Commonwealth Games were. I didn't know. Stupid, really, on my part. And I went down there to Institute of Sport, and I beat him up for 3 rounds. And in the 4th round, I was like just looking across, and I'm just looking at. I wasn't even listening to the person in my corner. I think it was a woman called Val. And I was looking across at him, and I could see his nose bleeding, his eye was swelling up, and I thought, I'm going to knock this kid out now. I went back out, and he's like looking at me, and he's doing that with his left hand as if to say, you're getting this left hand. And I remember thinking to myself, you couldn't even hurt me if I let you hit me with it. And he's like nodding, going like that. So referee went, off you go. And he come out, and I thought, stupidly, I'm going to let him hit me with it. And I show him that it won't hurt, man. I just walked forward stupidly, stood square with my feet square, and he just went, bang! He went, boom, with his left hand. And I just went back onto ropes, and 6'8", 17 stone, I've leaned on ropes, and ropes give way, and I look like Mr. Soft. Amateurs being amateurs, they jumped in and went, whoa, and I was just like, no, and I grabbed ref, and I was like, what are you doing? And that was my first shot at championship boxing, and I blew it. And then after that, it was like everybody just turned on me. It was like, even not necessarily people I knew, but people that, just come with friends that I knew to support me. I was trying to sell tickets for another fight, and they were like, "Oh, we can't make it. I don't think we can make it." And I was like, they changed towards me a little bit. But Brendan he was always my, I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound homosexual. Not funny, Ben. I'm joking. I don't want to sound too soft, like. But Brendan, man, I love that guy, and he just said to me, Richard, listen to me. You're as good as your last fight in boxing. Always remember that. Don't get caught away with the fucking fairies. You've lost a fight. Tomorrow you'll win a fight, and all the people that doubt you today will be back on the bandwagon tomorrow. Keep with it. Keep with it. The secret is how long can you fucking go? And I'd be like, I've not got anything else, Brendan. I've not got anything else. I'd run out of money, and I'd remember going to me, because I had no job. I was just boxing, and I remember going to my cupboards, and I'd open my cupboards, and they were like a packet of noodles. I didn't even like noodles, and a tin of tuna, and I'd be like, fuck, what am I gonna do? And I swear this to you, each and every time I'd go to my cupboards, and there'd just be like not even a bowl full of porridge, in bottom of bag. I'd get it. Brendan had phoned me every time. I swear to you, 4 or 5 times it happened over the space of like 10 years. He'd phone me, where are you? And I'd think, fucking hell, he's going to get me digging into a tree or doing shopping for old people or picking litter up for 5 miles this way and 5 mile back. And I'd go, I'm at home, Bren, because I'd obviously trained. in the morning, 6:45 we train, and he'd go, the wife wants to see you, Alma, God bless her, beautiful again. The wife, and I'd go round and she'd give me an envelope and she'd go, Richard, you're the only person that I see with Brendan consistently every single day. If you work for nothing, you'll never be out of a job. And she'd pass me an envelope and it'd have money in it. And she'd, you know, I've got a lump in my throat. And she'd give me money and she'd go, that's for shopping, Richard, and get me shopping. And over the next probably few months, you'll understand why when I speak about them type of things, why it chokes me up a little bit. You'll understand why, but I don't really want to talk about anything like that now. But just saved my life, and they don't even realise what they did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing the impact people can have on your life, and you know, it's something that seems so little to you when you're helping someone can be the biggest thing to somebody else.
Yeah. I've got kids now. I've got my own gym. I don't know if you know. I've got my own gym, and I've got one kid in particular, Yassine, and he'll be watching this smiling now. But he deserves a mention. He deserves any good what's to come from him to him, because just 4 years ago, this kid was, just to mention a few things, he'd been excluded from school like 3 times. He got expelled from 2 schools, I think. He come to me when he was like 10. He's obviously 14 now. He was overweight. His feet were overpronated to a ridiculous level. Like, you'd look at him and think, what's wrong with this kid? Is he fucking physically as well as mentally retarded? But far from it. You know, now he's a shining example of what a student fighter should be. And he's not even had a bout yet because of all this corona thing, and he's not even had a bout yet, you know. And he's shining on every level you can think of. I've took him down to Adam's gym in Surrey, in Redhill. I've took him down there, and he's run rings around 2 kids what have had like lots of fights each.
Fair play to him.
And like, if you met him now, if you spoke to him, you'd either call me a liar or you'd say, I can't understand how this kid could have been what Richard described as a complete misfit, a complete pain in the backside. One of the kids that most parents, and I've asked him, he said, yeah, I heard parents saying, don't play with him. Do not go near that kid. Horrible little kid. You know, and you see him now, and I've got him round me all the time. He's a pleasure and sounds so eloquent in how he speaks, and got a 6-pack and all that. You know? And he's like, Richard, he just says to me, he goes, Richard, he goes, do you realise what you've done for me? You've sorted my life out, Richard. He goes, my mum and dad. He goes, I'm not just saying this, Richard. He goes, my family think you're an angel sent by God. And I'm like, all right, lad, shut up. Tearing me out.
That's great to hear, though. Isn't it?
It's great, Richard, isn't it? You know what Brendan Ingle and his wife were to you is what you are to this kid, and
he's not the only kid. He's one to mention.
Yeah, you know? And it's fantastic, isn't it? You can give back to the boxing community that way, and these young kids. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's brilliant to hear stories like that. It's really good.
Yeah, definitely, pal. Definitely, I'm absolutely blessed. And we had a talk in gym. You know, I probably do their own heads, and I've actually got some really good fighters. I've Cash Ali. He's obviously training with me. That's who went to spar with Derek Chisora today. I've got Chris Luteke. He's hoping to go in next Olympics. He's in qualifiers in 4 weeks, I think it is. Whatever country it is, I think it's Croatia. And then I've got Jordan. Jordan, he's 17. Jordan Baraka. He's 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 a monster. He come to me just a little kid, been with me 4 years as well. Yassine, obviously. Few kids have fell off. Then I've got little Wael, just an absolute brilliant little student. He's not even from this country, can't even speak English. Then and I've got Brandon. He's high on the autistic spectrum. His mom's explained to me what he's been diagnosed with, you know. And you watch him now, and if you speak to him, you'll probably think to yourself, he's either wired or not wired right.
Yeah.
But he's fully autistic. So I'm doing Brendan's work. It's Brendan what showed for this. Brendan.
Good on you as well. You know, you're passing it on, and it's fantastic.
Thank you, pal. Thank you.
Well, there's no greater teacher in life than someone who's lived, and you can't steer someone in the right direction if you've never been on the wrong one. But I'm a firm believer in that. You can't give someone advice if you've got no advice to give.
Oh, definitely. Well, there's a saying, isn't there? If you don't know, you don't know. And I remember there were me, Junior Witter, Kid Galahad, Kel Brook, and a few other. Danny McIntosh was there, and a few other fighters that, if I mentioned, you might know, but I can't really recall. There's one in particular, but he ended up getting locked up for rape, so I'm not mentioning him. Whatever it is, I don't know, but you'll understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he went down every one of them, Brendan. He went, "You're obviously fucking WBC champion," to Junior. He went, "Have I not always said you're going to be British, Commonwealth, European and world champion?" And Junior went, "Yeah, you have, Brent." He went, "I was fucking right." He went, "To Barry, you'll be British, Commonwealth, European and world champion. And you'll earn a fucking fortune. You'll have a license to print money." And then he went to the next one, said same thing. And then he came to me and he went, and I were expecting him to go, "British, same thing." And he went, "You'll make a fantastic coach." And I was like, "What, Brent?" I'm a fucking coach. I'm training all these harder than all these little bastards. Oh, I'm going to be a coach. And he went, "Listen to me, you thick bastard. There's nothing to stop you from becoming champion, but you're brilliant at connecting with people." And I was actually gutted that he'd said that to me. I remember it put a determination inside me. I thought, right, I'm going to show you. It made me more determined, which I'm sure he planned on doing. But he could see what I couldn't even begin to comprehend then. And look what I'm doing now. You know,
right.
Wisdom, man. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know, do you?
Absolutely.
In boxing, you've sparred with everyone. You've been in the big training camps. You've been with Klitschko. You've been with Hay. You've been with Wilder. Like the journey you've been on through boxing, you couldn't make it up.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. I were explaining to somebody earlier. I went to Russia to spar with Alexander Povetkin, and I think I'd had about 4 professional fights and four professional handbags, you know, 4 knockouts, you know. And so Dominic said, "Oh, do you want to go and spar in Russia?" And I was just like, "What? Brilliant!" I didn't think it possible that I'd ever, you know, I'd have trouble getting to Spain with my criminal record. Obviously, I've got firearms, I've got kidnap, false imprisonment, I've got attempt murders, I've got a lot of crazy charges, like, and I've been in a lot of crazy circumstances, you know. So I thought, there's no way, you know, you hear of them stopping people because they got caught with nicking a chocolate bar and they couldn't get into America and things, you know, you hear different things. And I always assumed that I'd have problems, you know, moving around the world, and that might stunt my growth in boxing. I always thought that. Anyway, what were I saying? Sorry.
Going out to Russia to spar with Povetkin.
Oh yeah, so I was like, flipping heck, to Russia, and I was like, "Can we get my visa sorted?" So anyway, he goes, "Yeah, we got it all, so we got everything sorted." And I went out there, cutting a long story short, we got there and it was -22. The water in my basin in the toilet was frozen, so it was like a ice cube of piss. So I've gone to the toilet and I'm bursting for a week because they've not given me no money, and not, I don't want to discredit Povetkin in any way, because they did look after me, but I think it was more a breakdown in communication as to why these things happen. But they'd not paid me. You know, I was supposed to get money as soon as I landed there. I think I had like £20, and you know, if you're well read, you'll know that pounds don't work in Russia. So when I've got there, I just need a toilet, and I'm in this like shack in the middle of nowhere. So I've run to the toilet. I've gone in, and it's like just a little shabby shack, but all you need for a sparring partner. So I've gone to have a wee, and I've noticed water's frozen when my wee's hit it, obviously. So I've gone outside. I've opened the door, and I've realised how cold it is, but I didn't realise. So I've gone to have a wee anyway, and it froze before it hit floor.
Jesus.
So I've gone, why? So I've like broke it off, and I was like, ah. So I've gone back. So I've gone to sleep anyway. I've cried myself to sleep.
Nice brief as well.
Yeah. So the next day they've said, "Oh, you're sparring." So they've come and picked us up in this minibus thing with big fucking tires on it. Took us to this gym, really nice gym, and as I've gone in there, they've like I think a lot of Olympic heavyweights were there, and super heavyweights and stuff like that. And they were all just looking at me for some reason. There were other sparring partners there, but they were just looking at me as if to say, you know, you know what I mean? And I just walked in. I've never been really intimidated by new surroundings. I went to nearly every prison in Britain at some point. So I'm used to moving around or what have you. And I walked in, and they're all looking at me, and I just walked past them. Hiya. Anyway, I've got in. First 30 seconds, Povetkin's broke my ribs. And I've got another 6 weeks left. And you know, that's what I'm saying to you. I was stood tall upright with my big chin in air, and I've got my arm out like that, and he just slipped under, went boom, bit like what you're dealing with, and broke my ribs. And Olympic gold medalist, not to be ashamed of, and I was just like, fucking hell. And anyway, I lasted another 6 weeks, and I sparred with most of the Russian amateur team as well. I sparred with them all.
Do you reckon that stood you quite well in your career? Because I watched an interview with Darren Till. He had a UFC fighter, and he went over to Brazil when he was 16, and he was shoved in a gym. No one spoke his language. He couldn't speak that language, and he felt like he had he was a target for everyone. He said that year of training with these people, you end up learning language, you end up learning to spar with them, etc. Changed him as a fighter. And would you say you had that same experience over in Russia for them 6 weeks?
Gosh. Yeah, definitely. Well, for the first week, I couldn't. If you understand this carefully, I don't know if you had a broken rib before.
It hurts. You can't laugh. You can't cough.
I'll breathe. Really good.
I couldn't sit. I couldn't touch it. I couldn't lie down. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't. And then I sparred. I sparred most of the rounds because I was told it was for. I'm sure it was for the Klitschko fight. I'm sure it were for Klitschko fight. And I couldn't even move. I couldn't lie down, and I don't know how I got through it because I can't tell you how painful it was. And I got in and sparred, and I think I sparred like a maximum of 8 rounds at one point, and a bit later on, in the 4 weeks. But afterwards, when I was going, I started off with a hostile greeting, and when I was going, they were all like coming over and doing that on my hand, and they were going, "We respect you," and they were all like, they give me a really good send off, and it was like quite. And Povetkin were like, "You keep going, you're very, very tricky customer type thing," and I was like, "Fucking, wanting to and having to, pal.
Now, obviously, you've just mentioned Povetkin being one of them, but it's obviously documented that you were in the Hay camp with Wilder. You've sparred AJ, Fury, and obviously the Klitschko brothers. Is there any interesting stories from there, like with you dropping people or being dropped yourself, that you can let on? Or?
Yeah. I always, if I were to, just to tease you a little bit, if I were to say the people that, and I don't lie, if I were to say the people that I dropped, the people that I knocked out in sparring, because one thing I could do a punch, and I probably still can. They say it's the last thing that you lose, but you'd know it was. Let's put it that way. But I don't want to do that. I've heard sparring partners, said that they knocked me down, and I've heard sparring partners say, "Oh yeah, we did this and we did that." I've heard taxi drivers tell me how they used to beat Prince Nazim up and how they used to,
before they woke up.
Do you know what I mean? With a face in the cornflakes.